Hey, it's KK. Welcome back to my car. It's dirty and filthy, as you can see. So a little back, if we're gonna go ahead and keep doing videos in my car, I just want y'all to know that, so the back seat is basically, like, if you see any trash or anything, my dog, so my fiance has decided to, okay, so, backstory. We were driving from one town to another, and it was about maybe 30-40 minutes of nothing but empty road. We live in Texas, so there's a lot of that around here. So down this road, and it's a highway, there was a dog in the middle of the road, so we decided to stop. Well, the dog was all matted. It looked like it had been hit a few times just because his fur was, it was patchy. He looked bad. So we rescued him. He's our dog hunter now. Well, my boyfriend, fiance, or whatever you want to call him, his bright idea was to keep the dog and constantly have him in the car with us. So, that's a little snippet of, like, the reason why my backseat always looks bad is because, and my car is always freaking hairy, is because, A, we live in mud. Literally, that's the only thing that I could describe it. There's nothing but mud around my house. And B, my dog lives in this car whenever it's, whenever we're going places with him. So, luckily the dog's with my fiance right now. This is another before work kind of snippet. I have to remember what I was gonna talk about. I think it was mainly, what do you do in those 10 minutes that you have before? Like, it makes you think. Okay, so there's an awkward amount of time before and after you have these little, like, say you have to go from home to work, but you get there 10 minutes early. What do you do in those 10 minutes? Because it's an awkward amount of time. It's not enough to watch a full YouTube video, unless that YouTube video is 10 minutes. It's not enough to go get something to eat unless you're gonna scarf it down. It's just, it's a weird amount of time, you know, like maybe it's like 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. But it's a weird amount of time, you know? So what do you do in those weird amount of times? And it got me thinking, oh yeah, I was gonna update you. Okay. So, in that weird amount of time, I was thinking about, okay, what am I going to tell you guys? What am I going to start saying on this kind of stuff? Because this is the world according to KK. So, like, what am I thinking during this time? And I was going to say, okay, maybe I could start updating you on my DID. Maybe I could start doing the channel like that. Maybe I could stop looking at the screen and start looking at you. Or maybe I could update you on, like, my diet plans now. I am by no means a doctor. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of, like, an update so far, my thoughts so far. I am by no means a doctor, but due to digestive issues and possibly it would help with, like, me losing weight and everything else, I've already switched to low-calorie drinks, if not constantly water. But I'm poor right now, so I can't go and buy a case of water. We gotta buy other stuff for to keep my fiance happy, mainly. So water for me is not a thing, so I drink it out of the tap with ice. Because you ever just get, like, tap water and you're like, mine has to be cold. So I think I'm going to go gluten-free. And the reason why I say this, so my stepmom, who is, I'm not going to tell you how, but she's related to me in some way, okay? Like, bloodlines related. She has gone gluten-free as well. And so, or for a little bit, she went gluten-free. And she stopped getting bloated. She stopped getting cramps, stomach cramps and stuff that she would get sometimes. She's also lactose intolerant. So, part of her digestive issues, she just has a lot of digestive issues. Part of that was from lactose. So she actually went lactose-free and then gluten-free for a little bit and actually helped her lose a little bit of weight. It stopped, like, this is gonna sound a little bit gross, her movements were a little bit easier, and I think that that's what I need to do, is I'm gonna experiment. I'm not a doctor. I'm not gonna go to the doctor for right now. I do understand that there is a danger with doing this long term without medical intervention or anything like that, but I don't plan to do this for a really long time. It's just mainly an experiment. I'm just gonna quit bread for a little bit, and that's where a lot of my overeating comes from too, is bread. It's a lot of my trigger foods is bread, fried food, anything having to do with flour, you know. So I'm gonna stop doing all that. I'm gonna try to stop doing all that. My fiance will help me hold me accountable. You guys will help me hold me accountable if you guys care. But I'm not big enough for all that. So, like, I don't expect any comments being like, we believe in you or anything like that. So yeah. And then this is gonna be really weird, but I've been thinking about death recently. And so my theology is I am a Christian, and recently I've had a resurgence of my faith and stuff, and I've been having really weird dreams about the apocalypse and everything else and what's been told in scripture and stuff, and I'm on the fence of whether it's gonna happen right now or later, but I believe in that stuff, and I'll tell anybody I believe in that stuff, but mainly the death part I'm talking about is, like, partly that, like, where are my friends and family gonna be whenever that happens? Where am I gonna be? And a lot of my dreams, I'm still on earth. It's not that whole, like, rapture thing where all the Christians are saved no matter, like, how good your faith is. No. It's said that we're gonna suffer for a little bit at least before the rapture happens. So a lot of my dreams is that like, I die during the apocalypse and stuff. But it's not my death that it's just the overall concept of death that I've been thinking about. It's like I've lost a lot of people in my life, and I know some people have been going through losing people and everything else, and with the time changing and everything else, from fall to winter, really in Texas, summer to winter, you see a lot of change and you see a lot of death, and it's a lot of heavy stuff to think about sometimes. Like, one day all of us are gonna die, and there's nothing any of us can do about it. And that's what I've been thinking about, is that no matter what we try to do, no matter what we try to accomplish or anything, we can leave a footprint on the earth if that's your point. It's not my point. I mean, you may say through this YouTube thing, that's my point, is to leave some sort of impression, but a lot of people are obsessed with that, about, oh, who's gonna remember me? And to me, that's not important. But you can leave an impression. They can put statues up for you. You can have a gravestone, something as little as that, for people to go visit. As long as you have family, they'll go see you. But a couple of generations down, they're not gonna care. And that's what I've been thinking about, is that losing the ones that I'm closest to right now, like my fiance or my parents, my dad especially, because I've already lost my mom. And every once in a while it's my stepmom or my little sister, and that's what I get for having this awkward amount of time in between me getting to work and me leaving the house, you know? It's just, it pulls everybody down. So my boyfriend and his family use this term called my mind's running, which means basically, like, they're just thinking and thinking and thinking, and they can't stop it. And sometimes it's going so fast that they have no idea what they're thinking about at all. And so, like, first of all, I think that's an amazing thing, because I will go from talking about how orange the tree is to airplanes. I don't know. And it will be linked, but it'll take a minute for me to link it. And I think that's part of having DID, is that sometimes you have 2 different conversations, or 3 or 4, and like you're all talking at once, and then all of a sudden you're thinking about completely different things. But awkward amount of time. Mind running makes sense. I guess that's the only thing that I can do in this situation is just think. Because it's an amazing thing that we got to have, is the thoughts, is the ability to think. And I think it's like super cool that we were given this gift to be able to have coherent thought, and we can imagine things like movies or art or music. And then here I am thinking about existential crises and death. Okay, so I guess that was my update, is that I'm gonna go gluten-free. I'm already doing intermittent fasting here and there. Mainly no longer than 20 hours, mainly from the time I go to bed to about lunchtime. That's whenever I'll start eating. And hopefully in combination from going gluten-free, watching my calories, and fasting here and there, I'll be able to lose weight the healthy way. Because I will tell you, I have made mistakes in the past where it's borderline anorexia and borderline binge eating disorder and borderline bulimia or whatever. And I will not lie, I follow this stuff on Tumblr, but this thing is, and I'm a little embarrassed about putting this out in the world, but this thing is about keeping me accountable. This is about listening to what I have to say and like seeing the world through my eyes, because or my alter seeing the world through my eyes, because I'm different, you know? Like, I see the body on the camera, but that's not how I see myself. And that's one of the reasons why I made this, is to see what you see what I see what the world sees. It's a really pretty day today. I'll be working all day, so if we get to see my house tonight with the gate being built and everything else, I could show you guys my house for the first time. Yeah. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. But unfortunately, I gotta go. So, bye. That was my little awkward amount of time. Kind of mini rant. See you later, alligator.